Hi guys, welcome back to part 2 for Hedgehog Hollow's October card kit. I'm going to start out by making this bookmark, and I'm going to be taking a piece of heavy white cardstock and cutting it down to 2.5 inches by, it's 8.5 by 2.5. And then I'm going to be using a stamp from Unity, which has a real pretty quote on it, which you'll see in just a second. I thought it would make a really nice quote for my bookmark. And I'm just going to ink it up with my Nuvo Clear Embossing ink pad. And I'm going to be using Wow, the black fine detail embossing powder. I'm going to heat set it with my my heat gun, which I didn't heat up enough, so it's going to kind of warp the paper a little bit, but that's okay because when I run it through the laminator, it'll straighten it right back out again. So I'm just going to heat set that, and this is the quote. I think it's just absolutely perfect for a bookmark. And next I'm going to take a lot of the stamps, the little fall elements from the Hedgehog Hollow, the fall stamp set that came in the kit, and I'm just going to use my clear embossing um, pad and then clear embossing powder, and I think I used the LDRS clear embossing powder that also came in one of the previous Hedgehog Hollow kits. Great stash builders, these kits. And you can't see it, but it's there. And I'm just making it so that when I do the distress ink background on the bookmark, you'll be able to see the little acorns and leaves um, from the stamp set in the background. So once I've finished getting this all done and putting the clear embossing powder on, I'm going to use my distress inks, and I'm just going to do what you see me do quite a bit in this card kit. I really just am in love with these backgrounds. They're so bright and so beautiful and just very versatile. So I'm going to be using the wilted violet, fossilized amber, peeled paint, fired brick, and carved pumpkin, which I've been using throughout most of the kit. And very beautiful fall colors go with everything. I absolutely love this little combination here, as you can tell since I've used it so many times. And also, those little finger daubers there, I saw a thing on Pinterest, and I didn't have any, and I really wanted some, so I made it myself. And it's just a piece of PVC pipe that I had laying out in the garage from yard stuff this summer, and I just cut them down into little pieces, and then those are makeup sponges that you just shove in there, and that works great actually. Saved me a trip to go out and have to buy some finger daubers. Actually, last time I went to Michael's, they didn't even have any, so um, I couldn't buy them anyway, even if I wanted to. So I'm just going to finish up the blending, and then I'm going to take my very, very dirty rag that I use to clean off my stamps, and I'm just going to kind of buff off where the embossed images are just to brighten them up a bit. And now once I'm done with this, I'm trying to remember what I did next. Oh, I know. This was a little bit too long. So depending on what size you want your bookmark to be, I just cut an inch off the bottom, because I was going to make it. This is for my daughter, and she reads a lot of those hardcover books, um, and so I wanted it to be a little bit longer so it would fit better. So I also cut off the little corners on the top, which originally I was just going to chop them off, but then I thought I should probably use a ruler and make some marks, so I didn't just hack away at the top of my bookmark here. And still came out crooked, but it's okay. Now I'm just going to adhere my images that I stamped and cut. I think I used, yeah, I did. I used my Copic markers to color these in, and then I fussy cut them out. And I'm just adhering them flat to the bookmark, and I'm going to put them inside of my laminating folder. And I'm just going to trim that down so that I could use this for multiple things. That way I don't waste an entire sheet of laminating, whatever you call this plastic is. And I'm just going to run that through my laminator. And I realized as it was going through that I should probably chop off the bottom, so I just kind of quickly trimmed off the bottom. And now it is done. So now I'm just going to trim my corners down, and I'm going to punch a hole so that I can put a little eyelet in there. I grabbed an orange one out of my stash and used my crocodile and then I attach the little orange eyelet, and I'm going to grab some jute and some natural, I think it's also jute, but it's like a natural color, or kind of a thick white string, I guess. And I'm just going to make some fuzzies that come out the top for my bookmark, and that completes this is project number 3. Next, we're going to make a card. This is going to be card number 4. And for this card, I'm going to be, yeah, you saw the card. Pretty much same thing, but this time I'm going to be embossing the background with the fall stamps that came in the kit. And I got a little bit of black ink on my embossing pad, so it keeps transferring onto my paper, but it's okay because I changed my mind and decided not to use the clear, but to use the gold embossing powder instead. So even though it's, you can see it, I'm not going to be using the the clear anyway, so it doesn't matter. But I probably won't be able to use this pad for any clear embossing again, unless you guys can tell me how to clean it back up again. That would be awesome, because that one was my Simon Says stamp clear pad, so I'm kind of sad that I ruined it. And now I'm just going to do what I've been doing through the rest of the cards. So I'm going to use my Distress Oxides and a couple of the colors, fall colors that I've been using. And I just really love the way the embossed powder images look behind these, because it gives it such pretty color back there. I don't know, this camera really just doesn't do it any justice. My pictures look better than the images that you're seeing as I'm doing, because I have to brighten up the screen. The I do all of my videos at night, and so I have what I think is very good lighting. I use the daylight lights and everything, but for some reason the video always looks dark to me. So during editing, I have to brighten it up a little bit, and I don't know why my camera's doing that. It's acting crazy again. Yeah, so the photos are actually taken outside in the sun during the day, so that's the actual color and how they look in person. So they do, the backgrounds are so much more vibrant, so much more beautiful in person. But I just really love the way this looks. And then when you buff out the top to get the embossing powder to show through, I think it's just stunning. Makes for very, very pretty, elegant looking cards. So I'm just going to finish up my blending here. I'm using the same colors that I've been using: carved pumpkin, the fossilized amber, fire brick. I left the green out of this one, but I am using the wilted violet. I'm going to use a little bit of water, spritz it on there. And for this one, I decided to, I think this is the one I did it on. No, I didn't. Okay, so forget that. Now I'm going to use the stitch rectangle die, and I'm going to cut it out. And I do that all the time because I really like the way it looks when you use, I like the layered look. So I like you to be able to see the card base underneath the panel. So that's why I always cut using, well, almost always, I shouldn't say always, but almost always cut out my panels using the stitched rectangle dies. I like that finished edge as well with the stitching. Then I took a piece of black cardstock from my stash, and that sentiment is from one of last year's kits that I had gotten from another company, not Hedgehog Hollow. And it's a Newton's Nook fall stamp. Some black cardstock from my stash, also some orange cardstock from my stash. I'm going to pop up the black right in the middle of my card. I'm not doing anything fancy because these are very background heavy cards, so there wasn't any patterned paper in this month's kit, so you had to become kind of creative with your own backgrounds. I also used a Sizzix polka dot die on the orange card stock, and that was from, I believe, the orange. Nope, that one wasn't. That's from my stash. The orange that was in the kit was a little bit brighter than that one, I believe. So that one's from my stash, and now I'm just going to pop up the sentiment in the middle. And just because so you got something last year doesn't mean you can't use it this year. So even though this isn't one of the sentiments from the fall kit for this year, I mean, don't just put them in the back of the closet and never look at them again. They're still good. And I think that these, like this one here, is absolutely beautiful sentiment. It's perfect for this type of a card. I just popped up one of my extra little pumpkins that I had colored and cut out earlier and stuck it right there on the side, and that will complete card number 4. For project number 4, I'm going to be making a cookie treat bag. So for this project, I am using, um, this is a die that came in one of the previous Hedgehog Hollow kits by LDRS, and it cuts out a little pocket that is pretty much the perfect size for a gift card. So what I wanted to do was take a cookie bag, which I had a couple in my stash, and as soon as I put together the um, the little gift card pocket, the paper that I'm using is nitpicky, Lawn Fawn nitpicky paper, which I had from my stash, and just folding along the creases, and then I'm going to use some score tape on the edges to close up my little pocket there. Like I said, this pocket is perfect for gift card, fits right in there perfectly. And there's my little pocket. It also came with some other dies to decorate the pocket, but they didn't really go with my fall theme. So here's my little cookie packages, and I'm just gonna basically layer some elements on the top of it. You'll see here. So I'm just gonna fold it down the top of it, and that paper right there has like a wood grain to it, and I thought it would make a real pretty banner that I would stick on the side of my cookie bag. So right now I'm just measuring how long I need my banner to be, and since I'm not sure where everything's going to sit, I didn't want to cut it down until I kind of gauged everything out a little bit. Now I'm just going to use my thumb as a guide to how long I want my banner to be. And then I'm just going to use my scissors to make a little snip in the middle and on the edges to create that banner edge. Even if I had a die for this, I probably wouldn't pull it out and use it because, I mean, it's easy to make one of these. So now I'm just figuring out placement. I am going to adhere the banner directly to the cookie bag just to make it easier so that everything doesn't fall off of the bag when you open it to take your cookies out. And then I'm looking to see where I need to trim down. This panel is one of 12 watercolor panels that came in the Hedgehog Hollow kit. Those are all hand-drawn pictures on the watercolor paper, and I just use my Zig markers to color them in. And now I'm just going to pop that up on the, I guess that would be the back of the little pocket there. And I'm going to adhere my banner directly to my cookie bag. And then I got a little clip. That's one of the clips from the Tim Holtz. You know, he has all those cool little things, and that's just a clip that I have in my stash. Use my crocodile again to cut a hole in the top of the little pocket, and some jute twine, and I'm just going to make a bow. So when you're ready to throw all your stuff in here, you know, obviously you would have your gift card in there already before you tied your little bow and attached it. Throw your cookie in the bag as soon as you finish decorating it, and then pinch it closed and give it to whoever you're going to be giving this to. So the only thing I have left now is my little, this one I made, don't have a lot of sentiment dies, and I thought thank you would be cute. So I just cut out thank you in black and in orange, and then I kind of put them together by moving the orange a little bit over from the black so that you can still see the black behind the orange. So it's kind of like a shadowy effect. And I'm just going to adhere it directly to the bag. Just a cute little gift idea it was really fast to put it together. Even though I've sped this up, I mean, the original video I think was like less than 15 minutes long, so super fast little project to give a gift. And that completes project number 4. Now for card number 5, this is my favorite card out of all of them. And for this one, I took some watercolor paper, cut it down to 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. And this is just a cheapy little watercolor set that I got. I think I got it either at Hobby Lobby or Michael's, one or the other. And it just cost a couple dollars, but the colors are perfect. Um, both spring, summer, fall. It has all the perfect colors in it. So I'm just going to take a bunch of the ones that I thought would go best with my images, which I had cut and already colored. And for this, I used the nitpicky paper that from Lawn Fawn that I'm going to kind of use in the card as well. And that's where I picked my colors from, both for the background, the watercolor background, and for the coloring images that I used for this. So that's pretty much it for the background, and I think it came out so cute. And then I'm also going to take some Mandarin Perfect Pearls, a little bit of water, and I'm going to use that to splatter the top of my watercolor paper. I'm moving my little images out of the way, my little things that I've already cut and colored so that I don't get perfect pearls all over them. When I use this stuff, I have perfect pearls everywhere. I find it all over the place. I'm very messy. Now I'm going to put my image, my sentiment, and this one came in the kit, and whatever spices your pumpkin, and I'm using black pigment ink, which I need a new pad. This one is so not juicy anymore. And I'm also going to use the Wow black embossing powder over that just to make sure it just isn't dark enough for me, and I want it to really pop off the page, so I use the embossing powder over the pigment ink. Heat set that, and that's like a huge difference. And now I'm going to take just a regular 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 top folding card base, and that is the nitpicky paper, but also I cut down a strip of black cardstock to go behind the nitpicky strip that I'd cut. And then I'm just going to trim off my excess. Another pretty quick card here. What if you stamp out these little images, like a whole bunch of them, and just go to town, sit in front of the TV, and just color, you can knock out 10 cards and out of this in no time. I mean, that's the longest part about it is the coloring, and that's the most fun to me. So I don't have any issues doing a ton of this. I wish there were some dyes for it because I'm not the best at the fussy cutting. I mean, I'm not horrible at it, but I would love to have dyes for everything so that I didn't have to fussy cut so much, but it's okay. Now I'm just going to place my little images on there. I did the books directly to the background, and then I'm popping up the little coffee cup. And I think this little bunch of stamped images is just perfect together with the pumpkin and the hat, and it just screams fall to me. So I really did like playing with the stamps in this kit. I think they're absolutely perfect. Now I'm just figuring out where I'm going to put my hat, and that's a perfect spot for it right there. So I'll pop up one corner of it, and then, oh no, I popped up the whole thing. Just going to attach it to the corner of the book, and that will complete card number 5. For my final project, this one is really fast. Honestly, I was running out of ideas for things to do with this project, with this kit. But I have a very beat up pillar candle. I actually have 3 of them that really took a beating when we moved, when I put them in storage. So I thought maybe I could cover them up with something and make them look better. So I've got this ribbon, and it's May Arts ribbon, and it's got the wire in it, and it's this real pretty color that I thought would go. It's kind of like a light brown. I thought would look nice. And so I'm just going to wrap it around my candle, and I'm going to take a little pin, basically like a sewing pin, and I'm just going to kind of hold it together and then shove it into the candle so that the ribbon won't move. And then I'm going to take the white I want to say it's twine, but it doesn't feel like twine. It feels more like rope, but nice rope. And I'm just going to wrap it around the candle a few times. And as soon as I have enough of it, I'm just going to tie a little knot in the back to keep it there so it doesn't move. And then if you want to change out your little candle sleeves, just pull out the pin and slide it right off the bottom, stick it in a drawer, and save it for next year. Originally, I was going to use that, but it was too big. I had cut that out using a die and changed my mind and decided to just grab one of my little circle dies, and cut out a smaller circle. And then I'm just going to use, these are leaves that came in, it was one of the watercolor panels that came in the Hedgehog Hollow kit. And I just colored them in with my Zig markers and cut them out, fussy cut them out. And I'm just going to use two of the leaves, so I have another one hanging around. And the pumpkin that I chose for this is came from Unity. It's another one of my Unity stamps from that whole gigantic collection of stamps that I have. I finally went through them all. 3 years worth of monthly stamps from them. And I have this huge crate, and they're all just stacked in there. And I'm just having a blast going through it and pulling them out and trying to use as many of them as I can. I decided I wanted to pop that pumpkin up, so I pulled it off and put some foam squares on the back. I'm going to pop it up in the middle, and then I'm just going to attach it with some glue. So like I said, when you're done and you want to change it out for another season, you just pull the pin out of the back, slide it off, and stick it in a drawer, and then slide on another one and attach it with another pin. And the other thing that I do with these is to make them last longer. I know you can't see it because I took it out, but I put a tea light in the top. So I just burn it down till the tea light fits in, and then that's what I use from now on. So these candles are very old. Anyway, that's it for my projects for this is video number 2. Thank you so much for stopping by. I really do appreciate it. If you have any questions, leave them below. I'll try to answer them. Any comments, I'd love to hear from you. And I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.